Hi everyone and welcome to my video. In today's lesson we are together going to learn how to make this really easy headband. I made the headband using the double crochet stitch and I used a half double crochet for the center piece. But if you only know how to do one stitch, you can use that for the whole project. It is very easy to make and I would suggest this is very good for a beginner's project. You can wear it any way you like, of course, you don't have to wear it on the side. And I think these will be excellent gifts as they only take very short time to make up. So thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe as there will be more tutorials to come. And let's get started on the lesson. For the headband you are going to decide how wide you want your headband. This is how wide you're going to make your chain. So I've made 20 chains and it's about 5 inches, 12.5, 13 centimeters. So if you want it exactly that size, then you're going to have to add 3 chains to it because that's what you need to chain up for your double crochet stitch. But I'm just going to go into the 4th chain from the hook. So if you chained up another 3, you're going to go into the 4th chain. So we don't count the one that's on our hook. 1, 2, 3 and 4, yarning over, going into the chain stitch and completing your double crochet. So it's yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, going into the next stitch. I have a label here that's trying to get in on the action. Yarning over, pull through 2, you've got 3 on your hook, yarning over, pull through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2. Going into the next stitch, yarning over, pull up a loop, you've got 3 on your hook, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2. You're going to repeat this all the way across, going into each chain. Like I said, this is adjustable, you can make it as wide as you want. That's what I love about projects like this, you can make it custom to what you want, or maybe your customer wants. So we're just going all the way across. You can also use this pattern to make a double crochet blanket. Obviously this little bit is on a smaller scale, but if you made your initial chain longer, this would be exactly the same. So going into your last chain with your double crochet, you're going to have something looking like this. If it starts to curl, mine normally does, it's not doing it, but it will, if it curls over, it doesn't matter, it will do that on your first few rows. Mine always does anyway. So chaining up 3, oops, and turning your work. Excuse that noise in the background, it shouldn't last too long, it's just the compressor going. What we want to do now is going into the 2nd stitch, because our first stitch is our chain 3 here. So this is our first stitch and this is our 2nd stitch. So yarning over, going into the stitch, going under both loops. You've got 2 loops on the top. You could work in the back loops only for the whole project, completely up to you. It will give you a ribbed look to your headband. Going into the next stitch, completing your double crochet, and we're going to be doing this all the way across until we get to the end. So the middle part is easy because we're just going 1 stitch into 1 stitch, So if you've got a Facebook account, don't forget to find us on Facebook under Bob Wilson 123. There's nearly 3,000 subscribers over there, so there's lots of people to help you out if you get stuck. I can't be on the computer all the time, so that's a good community over there helping out a lot. We also have a Ravelry page, so go and join there if you're on that page over there, on that website. You'll find us again under Bob Wilson 123. Or if you want to email me some photos, the email address is in the box below, underneath the video. So we're working our way across. And I've got 2 stitches left. We've got one here and one here. So going into the next stitch is there. And we always work into the chain 3 from the previous row. So you're working into the 3rd chain. So the first one's here, that's the second, and that's the 3rd. So yarning over, going into the chain, trying to get through 2 loops. 2 loops gives you a firmer edge. If you can only find one, doesn't matter, but the 2 will give you a firmer edge. And just completing your stitch as normal. We want to chain 3, and you just repeat that last row until your headband is long enough. So I've chained 3, I think. Too busy gas bagging. No, I think I only did 2. So starting again, 1, 2 and 3. Turning your work. Like I said, chain 3 is your first stitch. That is your first stitch there. This is your second. So the first chain is your first stitch. So you need to go into the second one, completing your stitch as normal, working all the way across and not forgetting to go into that chain 3 on the end. You're just going to complete this until your headband is long enough, and if you were making it for a blanket or an afghan, you would just complete that until it's big enough. So meet up with me in a moment, pause the video and we'll continue on. I've finished my headband, and my head circumference that I've made the headband is 42 centimeters. This is for myself too, by the way. Let me just go off screen and measure my actual head. I've got a big head. It's like 58, 59 centimeters. So like I said, this one is only 43 centimeters because this is going to stretch quite a bit. So it's for yourself. Measure it on your head and you'll know how much it stretches. It stretches heaps because it's a double crochet stitch. So once you've got yours long enough, let's just zoom back out and readjust the camera. This is what I've got, and I've got all this left over because I actually have to pull out some rows, but that's all good. Use that for something else. And now we want to sew these ends together. So just folding it over and finding your needle. We want to thread our needle and then we are going to sew our ends together. I just need to cut this, sorry guys, it's like enough yarn for a small country. So you want to leave it reasonably long because you do have a bit of sewing to do depending on how wide you've made your headband. You grab your yarn, going through both layers, and then sewing your ends together. I'm just going under both loops there. It's getting so windy outside. We've had lots of storms here. It's what month is it? It's the beginning of November. And we've just had so many storms. It's so windy, lots of rain, lots of bit of flooding as well. So I'm sure you know how to sew up by now. So just repeat this all the way to the end. And I'll meet up with you then. Once we have it all sewn together, you want to hide your ends. Just sewing it in out of a few stitches there. Cutting off your yarn, making sure you don't cut your stitches. And yes, I have done that before. We want to sew in our ends, if you haven't already. Making sure that it's actually caught those stitches there, so you haven't got them ones. So I can't make a knot because the yarn is too short, but this is actually going to get gathered up, so it's not going to come undone. I hope. Fingers crossed. So just sewing in that. There we go, disappeared. So now, leaving the seam that we just did, now we want to make it, just so remember where that is. I might just, I mean I can see where it is, but I might put my little pin there so I know where it is. And now we have to make a little tab that's this kind of size. Now how big is mine? My actual headband is 12 centimeters, or just under 5 inches across that way. And then this little piece is nearly 3 inches, or 7.5 centimeters. So what you're going to do is make a chain. You can make this pin any size you like, just like you did with the headband. But I made a chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I made a chain of I think 9, and then half double crocheted into the second chain. So let's grab some yarn. Got freaking spaghetti junction here. There's yarn everywhere. Let's show you how to do the little tab part. If you know how to do it, of course, go ahead and start again. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a chain. So I'm going to chain 9. If you've got different thickness yarn and a different size hook, I'm using 8 ply, and which is equivalent to double knit, and a 4mm hook. If you've got a bigger one, then you may just need to make a few less. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Yarning over, going into the second chain from the hook, not including this first one. So this is number 1, and this is number 2. Pulling up a loop, you've got 3 on your hook, yarning over and pulling through all 3. We're going to repeat that. We're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, next chain stitch, yarning over, pulling up a loop. You've got 3 on your hook, yarning over, pulling through all 3. And we're going to repeat this all the way till the end. You can of course use a half double crochet stitch, you can use a single crochet or a double crochet, completely up to you. I mean, we used double crochet on the headband, so you could probably use that. Doesn't matter. All creates a bit of a different design and finish to your end product. So now we're going to chain 2, and you're going to repeat this next row until your piece is long enough. So yarning over, going into the stitch, under both loops. You could also go under one loop if you wanted to make it a ribbed effect. And we're just working all the way across till we get to the end. Then you're going to chain 2 and work back across. You're going to keep going until it's big enough. So how do we know if it's big enough? Well, let's have a look. This is your headband, of course, and this is your little tab that we need. It's literally fresh off the hook, it was still attached to the ball. And now where your seam is, this is where this tab is going to go, so we're going to disguise the seam so it looks like it doesn't have one. So what we're going to do is, I don't know if you guys remember or have ever made one of those fans out of paper and you like make them into a concertina. That's what we're going to do with this. So you're going to fold up that bit, and then you're going to fold it back so that the folds are exactly the same width. You're going to fold it over so the folds are the same width, and then you're going to, oh, this is a bit tricky because it's all connected. You're going to fold it like that, and what you have is like a concertina or folds of fabric like so. So just holding where your seam is, making sure it's not twisted, and the side we want to look at, you can do it any side you like. Where is it? Yeah, is the side where, okay, so what we've got to do is we've got to fold it so that both of these edges are pointing upwards. See, that one's pointing downwards, so I need to redo that one. So folding over, flipping back, folding over. Okay, so I need to do one less. Sorry guys, I've 1, 2 and 3. So you need 3 folds all together. There we go. Jeez, give it the program. Clear. There we go. So see how these bits here and that bit there are both pointing upwards? That's what you want. You don't want one of these to be pointing down. You need just these both edges pointing up. So where's our seam? There it is there. Grabbing your tab, you're going to wrap this around your piece that we just folded. And you want it really tight because you want to hold it in place, and you want this, see how it's like got that little gathered bit there? That's what you want to stay. So you're going to flip it over and then holding this bit, you want to make sure your tab is really, really tight. If it isn't, you want to pull out a few rows so that it is. Now, being a contortionist, you want to thread your needle, and this isn't going to work the real way, so let's, there you go. Because you don't want to let go of this because it's all going to unfold and you're going to just need to start again. So now you're going to go through both loops, like so. Haha, get that? Like so, sewing. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting really hot because it's starting to warm up. Okay, so that's that part. So just flip it back over, making sure that it's still sitting with that bow effect. Now we are going to, and if you haven't got enough yarn, just grab some and tie it on and do it like that. You're going to need to just thread your yarn up till it's about there. And then we're going to go through all those layers that we have there, because we want to make sure this doesn't come undone. I would hate for you to sew all this on and then it doesn't come undone. So back through, so the yarn's coming out here, so I'm just going to go right next to it and back through. Then I'm going to thread it up to the other side, so we can just tack down that other side as well. So going in and through all layers, making sure you're catching all layers. Coming out of here, going back in right next to it, and then coming back out the other side. We just want to make a little knot so it's all secure, and then you want to sew in your ends. And now we are going to be rocking it out with our really funky headband. After we sew that end in. There's always an end to spoil the party. Okay, so sewing in your ends and we are done. Thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe because there will be plenty of more tutorials to come along. We do also have a Facebook page and a Ravelry page so you can share your creations over there. If not, you can email them to me in the email in the description box below. Don't forget to thumbs up the video if you enjoyed it. And also leave a comment in the boxes below and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching. Until next time, happy crochet.